Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to discuss about the DBMS architecture, how the architecture structure will be there, what are all the internal components of the database system. If in the see this diagram, so the architecture is divided into the four parts. The top layer it's the users, so who are all going to interact with the DBMS. That is an interaction based on the access or management of the database. The next sessions it's a query processor and then storage manager and disk storage. The users are divided into the four types: name users, application program users, sophisticated users, database administrators. So the name user it's a common man. They doesn't aware about any information on the database. For example, if we are booking a ticket for the flight or train, whatever it is, as a user, just we can use the APIs and then clicking on our tickets, close it. Once the ticket confirmed, we are just leaving the platform. So we are doesn't aware about the backend part, how the data are stored and then what are all the processes are in the behind. So we are never bother about anything. So those kind of the user is called name users. So they have only interaction with the APIs. Application programmer, they are the next level. So they know about how the programs are working. So they can able to interact with the DBMS through the application programs. They have some technical knowledge. Sophisticated user, so they are in the well advanced compared with the application and then name user. They have some interaction with the database using the query tools. They can able to do some manipulations on the data. Database administrators, they are the superheroes of the database. They have the whole control about the database. All the administrator having the all kind of the access, they can interact with the administration tools. So now we are going to discuss one by one how the query process, storage manager and disk storages help us in the database. The query processor, it's interpreters how the user is giving the request based on the API. So that is going to be converted, that is going to be processed through the query processes. It also execute the user request which is received from the DML queries or DDL. So DML is nothing but data manipulation language. What are all the manipulation we want to do under the database? We will use the DML. DDL is nothing but data definition languages, that is related to the table structures. The query processes contains the following the four components: DML compiler, DDL interpreter, and then DML precompiler and query optimizer. So each and everything is they are just performing their own roles. DML compiler I already told. So DML statements, it's a low level instruction manipulation languages. So that is taken care by that. And DDL interpreter, it's processing all the DDL statements, data definition languages related to the table structures. And then DML precompiler, it processing the DML statements and embedded with the application program into the procedure calls. It's converting as a procedure calls. And query optimizer, it executes the instructions generated by the DML compiler. So what it is generating, that it is going to be executes. And then next level, it's a storage manager. It acts as the interface between the information stored in the database as well as from the query. So it is acting as an intermediate between the stored information and then request. It is also called as a database control system. So it is maintaining the consistency and integrity of our data, taking the main responsibility of managing the data manipulations like addition, deletion, all kind of the modifications. It contains nearly the 5 components: authorization manager, integrity manager, transaction manager, file manager, and then buffer. Authorization manager, it is giving the role based access control. It is check whether the particular person is having the privilege to perform this kind of the request or not. So for example, when we are just sharing the Google Sheet, we are just giving the access controls, right? View only, access, edit, like that. So similarly to accessing the particular data, so the person is eligible to access that data or not. So those kind of the authorization, it's controlled by the authorization manager. Integrity manager, it's checking the integrity constraints whenever the database is going to be modified. Transaction managers taking their controls on the by performing the operations in the scheduled way that it is receiving the transactions, and also it is ensure the database remains it is consistent state before and after the execution of the transaction or not. File manager, it managing the file spaces, data structures in the database. Buffer manager, it is maintaining the responsibility of cache memory and transferring of data between the secondary storage and then main memory. So the next level is a disk storage. It is used to store all the informations. So it contains 4 components: data files, dictionary, index, and then statistical data. Data files, it is a storing of the data. Data dictionary, it contains the information about the structure of the database. It's like as a repository of the information. It's like metadata. Index, it's providing the faster retrieval of the data in them, like as an index, how we are maintaining in the books. The similarly, statistical data, it helps us to contains the all the statistics of the information. So why we need the statistical data? The particular table, how frequently it is accessed and how frequently it is modified, how many times the modification is there, how many times the access is there, updation, insertion. So these types of the informations are maintained under the statistical data. Data independence, it's the most important property of the DBMS. Also, it is one of the main advantages of the database management system. In the database level, if we are just taking the 3 levels: physical level, that is called as a low level, disk storages; consumptional, it's a query process intermediate level; and then logical level or view level, it's a user interface. So whenever we are just acting or we are just doing some changes in the physical level, that should not affect our logical. So similarly, whenever we are just doing some changes in the logical level, that should not affect our physical level. For example, the ticket booking system, the low level is a data storage, disk storage. If I want to maintain the disk storage in a huge, then I'm just going to extend the disk storage now. That should not affect my UI interface. The same UI interface I have to make it. Suppose if I want to do the changes in the UI, the design if I'm just making, that should not affect my diskical, that is a low level part. It should not affect. So this data independence we need to maintain. So the 2 types, the data independence, physical data independence and then logical data independence. The need of data independence to improving the quality of the data, easy of maintenance, data security, and the developer no need to worry about any internal structures. Easily we can making the changes in the physical level to improve our performance. Physical data independence, I already told, it should not affect the logic whenever we are doing the changes in the structure of physical. So some of the changes in the physical level we can do it. Changing the storage devices, file organization, data structure changes, and then data accessing methods. So these are the things we can be able to do under the physical level. Logical level changing, we are just changing the structure of the logical level, maybe adding the new attributes, modifications or deletion on the attribute, merging the records, splitting the records. So these are the things we can be able to do under the logical level. So this is the difference between the physical data independence and then logical data independence. Physical data independence, it's storage with the storage of the concerned data, and here we are just going to maintain the structure of the data definition. Here it's easy to retrieve. The retrieving is very difficult in that because of depend on the logical structures, and then easy to achieve and compare with the logical data independence. Sometimes maybe a difficult to achieve compare with the physical data independence. So this is the difference between the physical and then logical data dependence. We can see in the we can meet in the next session. Thank you.